you have quite the interesting story before you're in real estate. So, what inspired you to pursue a career in real estate? Like, what got you into it 10 years ago?
Good question. So I was selling consumer electronics. I never finished university, and you know, the problem when you're a good salesperson and you get a sales job when you're young, I was 18 years old, is as they say in Greek, like it's sweet like honey. So I kept going back because the money was so good. I was making like 50, 60,000 bucks, 18 years old. Pretty good money for an 18-year-old, working 3 days a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, selling TVs, and I was really good at it. And then at some point, my family needed me. I had like 3 courses left to get my economics degree, and I ended up stopping. There's a difference between quitting and stopping. Quitting is when you can't do it or you don't believe in yourself. Stopping is when you make a decision because my opportunity cost was too high. I was making too much money. And I had people that had economics degrees applying for jobs to work for me as I was a sales manager at the time. So I'm like, what am I doing here? Let me just make the money because my family needs me. But I was only making so much. So my last year in TVs, I made $100,000, but I was literally working 7 days a week, 16 hours a day, stuck in the basement. I was actually in Toronto at the time at a store called Bay Blue Radio, one of the highest end stores in the country, selling really high end shit. Like I was selling like $20,000 record needles, like crazy shit. And but I only made 100 grand, and I was making the owner millions and millions of dollars. So I was done. I hit the peak. And I looked at other industries that had higher potential. One was cars, insurance. I actually interviewed with Pitney Bowes, selling like printers and shit. But real estate was always something that interested me. When my parents split up, I saw the realtor that came to list the house, and I wasn't that impressed with the way he negotiated the deal. And I just thought I could do better. So I ended up going into real estate, and I never looked back.
Amazing. And what did you do to become a top agent so quickly in your marketplace? Like I said, one of the most competitive in Canada.
Yeah, so what appears as quickly wasn't. So I've been selling since I was 18 years old. So I had thousands and thousands of deals under my belt. They weren't real estate deals, but when you're selling $200,000-$300,000 home theater systems, that's no joke.
Yeah.
And I was doing a lot of that. By the end, I was designing multi-room audio video camera systems, pretty sophisticated multi-room AV stuff. So I already had the interaction with clients. I already had the pricing. I had the objection handling. I had a lot of the same skills that are transferable. The only thing I didn't have was prospecting skills, because I was in a retail environment, which means the customers were coming to me. I knew how to close all day long, which is why I was very good at open houses, I think. So I think that all of my retail experience helped me transition into this business. It didn't get me to where I am now, but it was definitely a step ahead. And again, I think like my first year, for example, Thomas, I made 50 grand in real estate. I didn't crush it by any means. I just had grit, and I decided to keep going. I got humble. I put my ego aside. I hired a coach. I got some really good mentors that showed me how to prospect. And I think that bought me some time. So I think that, in my fourth year, I made $1 million or something like that. So that would have taken 10 years had I not hired a coach. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. And why would you say prospecting is so important as a realtor?
Because this whole business, we're in as Mike Ferry says, we're in the people, communication, and image business. If you're not talking to people, I don't care how good of a closer you are, there's no one to close. You have to keep filling the funnel and the pipeline. Your database isn't your database. They're always talking to other people who have their own realtors so your database is constantly under attack. People are constantly moving in and out of the city. So you have to keep adding people to your database. Prospecting is completely the name of the game. And when I was new, I was literally making 50, 60 contacts a day, 7 days a week for 3 years straight. I'd do 4 open houses a weekend. Saturday, 11 to 1, 2 to 4, Sunday, 11 to 1, 2 to 4. I'd go up to all the experienced agents and I'd say, I want to be your bitch. All your shitty leads, give them to me. All your crap, I want to do that. I want to do your walkthroughs. I want to do your inspections. I want to do anything. I would do anything attached to a top producer, and I would watch and I would listen and I would mimic. I wasn't recreating the wheel or the industry. I was just watching, I want what they have. I'll do what they do. That was my philosophy, and that's what I did.
Absolutely. And how important would you say having a mentor or a coach has completely changed your business?
I mean, only 1,000%.
Yeah.
I had a big ego when I was younger because I was really good at selling TVs and stuff. And to the point where my first year in real estate, I almost quit because I didn't make the 100 grand again. I took a big pay cut and I thought of going back to that industry. I was like, fuck, this is a lot of rejection. At least at the electronics store, people would constantly, it was a revolving door. So if someone was a soul or a prick, I didn't have to become very versatile. I was like, screw them. The next guy will be in 5 minutes. I'll sell him an audio system. In real estate, you don't have that luxury. You literally have to, be versatile. You can't just deal with people that you like, or you won't make the kind of money that you deserve to make. So I had to learn to be versatile, patient. I had to learn to be a good listener. I had to learn that a good salesperson does a lot more listening than talking. Ironic, because I haven't shut up since you invited me here. You know what I'm saying? I had to learn fundamental sales skills, which a lot of people just don't take the time to learn.
And how often do you practice your sales skills?
Every day. I practice my sales skills at Walmart. I practice my sales every chance I get, especially if my kids are watching, is an opportunity to practice your skills. I literally call my cell phone provider every quarter and just bust their chops for a deal. Like, it's not because I'm cheap, it's because I'm staying sharp.
Yeah.
Every chance I get. I mean, if you want to talk in a professional real estate capacity, I role play 5 days a week with 2 different role play partners every single day. Some of them have accents, some of them are Chinese, Indian. I try to work on my versatility. I role play with men, with women. I role play with anybody who will listen. Because I think it's important that you don't just role play and practice with the same type of people. Again, you're not expanding your versatility. Can I give you an example?
Yeah.
In Ottawa, we're in the nation's capital here in Canada. We have a lot of military moves. And I always wear a suit. I believe that we are in a profession that constitutes the money that we're making, I think, deserves to have a certain look. You may or may not agree with me, and that's okay. I really don't care. Like, you can wear jeans if you want. I just feel like if you're making $1 million, $2 million, you should look the part. Again, just my opinion, and you're fair to have your own. So if you're making this kind of money, and if, I think the customer deserves to have a certain look. However, when I would go and meet with military clients, they didn't like me. And I was like, what the hell is going on? These guys just don't like me. And then I started having that self-fulfilling prophecy, like military people don't like me, and my closing ratio was going down. Then I realized I was overdressing for the client. And a lot of them are just simple, down to earth, salt of the earth people. And this was coming across as very salesy, and it just wasn't, it was repelling people. So I realized, okay, I got to take a step back and be more versatile. Some people don't value this. So, I'm not saying don't be true to who you are, but instead of wearing a 3-piece suit, I'd probably just take off my tie and my pocket square and just go in with a blazer. And so little things like that I learned along the way. And those are things that I would discuss with my coach. Like, hey, why haven't I closed the last 10 military people that I've talked to? There's something going on here. And like, okay, let's analyze. What are you doing? Same thing I do with everybody. And who did they hire? And I'd go and look at their profile, and they were super chill salespeople who were like more, didn't dress up as much. So I just adapted and learned, and I grew, and I learned from that experience. So I think this business is constantly humbling. No matter what level you're at, you always have more to grow and more to learn.
Absolutely. And I want to kind of dive a bit more into that. So, do you actually look back at your business, track your numbers, look at what's working, what marketing channels are and what's not? And obviously every single day in our business changes with all the technology coming, right? So, what do you do when you look at your business to adapt to where we're going nowadays?
I'm almost at $1 billion in sales. I can't wait for that day, because I'm going to go to McDonald's and have a Big Mac or something, but have some carbs. Maybe that's what I'll do. But after all this time, I realized the technology is still meaningless without. So the technology is important to facilitate a business that's already there, but the technology won't get you there. I don't care how many funnels you have, how many online leads you have. So in 10 years, I've never bought an online lead. I've only done about 12 flyers in my career. I get flyers every week in my mailbox from people who, I swear to God, they must have a rainforest, their own rainforest, because they're delivering so many flyers. That's not going to have impact unless you already have a brand recognition. When I go in the mailbox and there's 10 flyers, and it works if it's consistent and it's there every week. But if you sold one house and you do a just sold flyer, what is the efficacy of that? How do you business plan? So how do you sit down in November and say, okay, I'm going to plan for 2024? The problem with marketing and advertising and technology, it's very hard to track. only 1% is a very good closing ratio with online leads. So however, I know how many people I have to talk to get a listing appointment. I know how many people that I have to door knock on because I've been tracking my numbers for 10 years. Any business person tracks their numbers. And that's the difference between a realtor and a business person. A realtor typically won't track their numbers. But I used to work at McDonald's, and I know that McDonald's knows how many burgers they sell between 11 and 12. I know that because I worked there. They're a business. And I know that they know how many of those were supersized back then. And we're the same, but we don't treat it like a business enough, but it is a business. So you can't improve what you don't track. I'm not a fan of like marketing and a lot of technology that gets in the way of talking to people. If it's going to facilitate the process and make it easier, I'm all for it. But if people are putting in technology to stop them from speaking to people, I'm completely against it. Because I think AI and all this shit that's going on in the world, at the end of the day, there's going to be two. The middle ground, I think, will be washed away. Extremely polished salespeople who have very good sales skills, and then the super technical people that'll do well as well. And the people in the middle are going to get washed away. I truly believe that. And I think that you either have to become extremely good at sales, which takes 3 to 5 years, or become a technical guru and do all your business through YouTube and Instagram or whatever. Either way is fine. Just pick one and stick to it.
Absolutely. No, I 100% agree with that point. That's a great point. Now, where would you say your business comes from? If it's not the marketing, the flyers, the online leads, where does the brunt of your business come from?
Do you guys know what the best advertising is in real estate? Anybody want to take a guess?
Cell phone?
No. Sold sign.
Sold sign.
Get a listing, sell it, and tell everybody that you sold it. That's it. So one of my goals when I was doing about 100 transactions on my own was, okay, how do I turn one deal into 3? Because I realized I wasn't Superman. And I think the most I ever did was 140 on my own, but I almost died. Like I was out of shape, I was fat, I was working 7 days a week, and I was miserable. It wasn't a very good quality of life. So that's when I started building a team, because I became a dad. I wanted to have weekends off, stuff like that. So I said, okay, I have to be more efficient with my time block, and really get my skills down and have higher standards. So I think that I want to answer your question properly. Ask me again. What was your exact question?
Where would you say that most of your business comes from, right? It's not online leads, it's not marketing,
Right. So one of my goals, back to my point, was how do I turn one transaction into 3? So I realized that the best advertising in real estate is a sold sign. At the beginning, I didn't have any. So I would use other agents. So I'll do just listed, just sold. Hey, your neighbor just listed and sold their home. It was listed and sold in 3 days. We know that when one person sells, usually 1 or 2 other neighbors are thinking of selling. So I'm wondering, when do you plan on moving? Fuck you. Perfect. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Next door. And I would do that every day. And I would get rejected every day. I got frostbite on my ears one day because it was so cold. I was door knocking. But eventually it worked because the accumulation effect kicked in and my script got better and I got more polished and my confidence grew. So the majority of my business initially was a lot of fish for sale by owners, like a lot of low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
And just listed, just sold, open houses. And now after 10 years, my database is 1,500. It's always getting purged, but it's about 1,500. The majority of my business is sign calls. Because when you have listings, you get sign calls, right?
Absolutely.
So just listed, just sold, knocking from my team now, and past clients and referrals. So I'd say it's about 65-70% referral repeat business. Yeah. I'm in Ottawa. We don't have a lot of condos, so there's not a lot of turnover. People typically stay in their house for like 6 to 10 years unless they're getting divorced or something. So condo, I think if you're in a metropolitan city, those are awesome because people don't typically stay as long. So I'm always hunting for new business because a lot of my customers stay in their forever home for a while.
Absolutely. And I like it, similar way that I started my business is you control what you can control. So the more hours and time you put into something, you directly see that as a result, and income wise, right? If you want to sell a house, go door knock 100 homes, right? You want to get another listing, leverage your current listings, right? And obviously I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but why do you focus more on listings than buyers?
Because listings bring buyers. And listings, I can control my time. So my goal is to go on 3 listing appointments a day, 11, 1, and 3. I don't always achieve that goal. Often I don't, but that's my goal, right? My goal is go on 3 listing appointments a day. 2 years ago, when everybody was busy and everyone was the best agent and everyone was number one, I was going on 3 a day. It was awesome. Now I go on 1 or 2 a day. And the reason why I focus more on listings, because if I price it right, if it looks good, I'm guaranteed a paycheck. Whereas with buyers, I was very good at buyers, and I still work with buyers, but only if they want to look at 2 or 3 homes. If it gets beyond that, then they have to work with my team. And when you're the listing agent, you're the employer. When you're the buyer's agent, you're the employee. So I'd rather be the employer and have all the inventory and have everybody go through me.
Yeah, I like that. And obviously you have a family now. So what did you do to bring in a team, kind of grow your systems to a point where you can, I take it you don't work Saturdays and Sundays anymore, or very, very rarely?
Very rarely. This weekend, I had a hat trick. And this is the thing, when you're a listing agent and you price it right, you don't have to negotiate. So I sold 3 listings on Saturday. The Saturday before, I sold 3 listings, so like 2 hat tricks back to back, which is friggin' awesome. So I'll do a little bit of that, but I won't meet somebody. Like if it's, I want to list my home, not happening, not on a Saturday or a Sunday. I want to be clear, that only started, I haven't worked a Sunday in 6 years. The Saturday thing just started 2 years ago. I travel a lot. I'm gone 160 days a year. I go to Greece for a month every year. I go to Vegas 6 times a year for my ferry events. I usually take my kids to Disney. Last year, I fucked off to Florida for a month because it was December and it was dead. And I'm like, why are we staying here? Let's just go to Florida. We drove like, like Chevy Chase in National Lampoon's Vacation. It was awesome, man. Like, so blessed to be able to do that. I took a couple of listings over Zoom when I was in Florida, but December in Ottawa was pretty slow. You're just prepping for next year.
Absolutely.
So super blessed to be able to have that kind of schedule now.
Yeah, no, 100%. And you talked about brand earlier in the call. So what do you do differently to differentiate your brand, Agent DK from, Ottawa is a very competitive market, right?
I think it's funny. Every market is competitive, but like, look at Toronto with 70,000 agents. Half of them didn't do a deal last year. So 35,000, not one deal. And then of those, half of them did 4 deals or less. So like, I think any market you talk to, when I talk to agents, because I do one of these interviews once a week or whatever, people always say, well, you don't get my market. Yes, I do. I get your market. I talk to agents all over North America. It's the same shit everywhere. I think that I don't really try to differentiate from other people. I just focus on what I'm doing. So does that make sense? Like I don't look at my competition unless I lose. If I lose to them, I guarantee you this, I'm never losing to you again, because I'll find out what you said and whatever hook or whatever, I'll buy your home, whatever you said, I'll find that and I'll expose it and I'll never lose to you again. You might beat me once, but you won't. This is my mentality, right? Like I might be coming across as, cocky or whatever, but you have to be, I'm just confident. You have to believe in yourself, which you're going to be in this business. So my philosophy is you might beat me once. Maybe I was tired. Maybe you got lucky, or maybe you just out-commissioned me, but it'll never happen again. So you better man up, because if I go first, you're losing. So I differentiate myself, I think, by not focusing on other people. I just focus on my business. I get copied a lot. I see lies all the time. I get flyers in my mailbox, #1 agent for this company. And then there's an asterisk at the bottom, on Tuesday, on this day, between the hours of 3 and 4, I was the, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I get it, fake it till you make it and all that bullshit, but I don't believe in that. I believe in work your ass off until you make it. So I'm not a big fan of lying, or like, if I can't sell your house, I'll buy your house and I'll buy your grandma's house and I'll buy your dog a house. Like, I just don't like that shit. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I just don't like, for me, those things are almost like admitting that you can't do the job. It's like, hey, if I fail at selling your home, I'll buy it at a discount at 6% with a 6-month closing and I'll assign it and I'll screw you. What kind of, the thought of losing doesn't even enter my mind. I don't even think of that. So I literally tell people, I will never buy your home. I have a home. I don't want to buy your house. I'll sell your home. Do you want someone who's going to put the thought in their mind that they could fail? Or do you want someone who doesn't believe failure is an option? What kind of an agent are you looking for? And, that works for me 90% of the time. My closing ratio is 88%. Either they don't like me or I don't like them, or we just mutually agree it's not going to be a good fit. You don't get them all, but, I get most.
Yeah. No, I love that. I really love that. Control what you can control, right? And if you have confidence in this game, you're going to go a long way. Now, so you originally started at Roll Page. You were one of the top agents in Canada for Roll Page, and then you made a switch to EXP. Why did you leave brick and mortar Royal LePage to EXP Realty?
Money. So I bought my own location about 3 years ago. I want to be careful what I say here. I was successful despite my brokerage. Royal LePage didn't really facilitate my success. If anything, they got in the way. I was literally told to my face, we don't know what to do with you. I was the first agent they ever had with a standing desk. I was the first agent with a headset. People would make fun of me, say I was working at McDonald's drive-through. And, you know, I asked for a phone line and they said no, because it costs too much. I'm like, are you serious? Like, I'll pay the $80 to run the line. So like, and then I was told, look, we just don't know what to do with you. Like, you're weird to us. You prospect, you know, we don't know how to. And I would go to my, the management and say, how do I get to $1 million? How do I get to 2 million? And they're like, we don't know, because they didn't do it. So it was hard for me. I wasn't surrounded by the right people. They were very nice, and I think they did the best they could, but they didn't know how to cultivate what I had going for me. So I didn't, I think environment plays a big role. So I left that office environment and I bought my own office space. And if you don't like the environment you're in, change the environment. If there's no options, I asked for a bigger office so I could join them with my team, and they told me I couldn't do it because I wasn't making enough money. I'm like, okay. I didn't fight. I just left. I bought my own office space. And then about a year later, my friend John Sai, we have the same business coach. He was busting my chops about EXP nonstop. And I was like, leave me alone. I'm not a recruiter. I don't want to do this shit. I'm a salesperson. I didn't even hear the pitch. I'm like, no, like, leave me alone. He's a good friend of mine. And I was like, pretty mean. I'm like, bro, leave me alone. I'm like, stop. I think he was just so excited about the opportunity, but he didn't know how to convey it properly. So I was just being repelled. And then he showed me the model, and I couldn't unsee how much money I was paying. My last year at my old brokerage, I paid them $130,000. And I'm at the time 41 years old, 42. And I'm like, okay, if I'm in this business another 10 years, that's $1 million that can go to my kids. I'm not Warren Buffett here. Like, I do well, but that's a lot of money, And then on top of that, another 100 grand a year from stock and rev share. So I'm like, I'm $2 million ahead in 10 years. Yeah. So why wouldn't I? I didn't go for the recruiting. I still only have 23 people in my sales organization. It's not my focus. I'll recruit somebody organically, but it's not my focus. My focus is to become the best salesperson I can. I don't feel like I've achieved that yet. When I get to that point, then I'll slow down production, exit the team, and just be a team leader and not go on daily appointments and run the team and grow it and scale it. But that's why I left, for money, to save money. Yeah. In the end, it was a great decision because of all the masterminding that I've been able to do. But business as usual, people don't hire me because I'm Royal LePage or because I'm EXP. They hire me because the DK brand is strong and it's respected.
They hire you as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if you could give some advice to a younger agent, or an agent might be struggling today because it is a challenging market in most places, what would you give that advice to? Like, if you could start all over again.
Guys, it's challenging if you're new, and it's challenging if you're seasoned. Like, I don't even think of myself as seasoned. I think I'm still learning and growing every day. I'm only 10 years in, but I had my worst quarter this year, my worst quarter of my career. It was shit. And, I focus a lot on mindset. I work out 6 days a week. I surround myself with really strong-minded people, and I struggled. But now I'm having the best quarter of my career back. So this is not a sprint. You can't focus this business on month or even quarters. It's a career. So you're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. And I think, having been a salesman since I was 18 years old and only ever been on commission, I know that. So I'm never too hard on myself, and I never celebrate for too long. Does that make sense? Like, yeah. If I have a really good, so last month I took 22 listings, which was really good for me because, my goal is like 15 a month. I didn't celebrate for too long. I'm like, okay, done. I got to do it again now. Because if this month I only take 2, what the hell was the point? It all averages out. So I think the key is never be too hard on yourself, because this business is hard enough as it is. And you need to keep a strong mindset. So if you're hard on yourself and the business beats the shit out of you, you're not going to have a very fun time. And then also, don't get too cocky and celebrate too long, because there's always somebody younger, better, faster, better looking, better shape, who's coming after you. You're coming after you all the time. And they might say, you're inspiring, I'm inspiring them, but no, they want to kick me off. And that keeps me sharp. So I would just say, keep your head down, go on as many appointments as you can. So for example, I had my worst quarter, right? About halfway through, I told my staff, send me on as many fucking appointments as you can, even the ones that aren't pre-qualified. And she's like, whoa, you have a standard. You don't go on the appointment unless they're pre-qualified. I said, I know, but I need to get into a rhythm. So I need to get in front of people as much as possible, because if you're going on one appointment every 3 weeks or 4 weeks, you're not in a rhythm.
Yeah.
So I said, I want to go on 3 appointments a day. I don't give a shit if it's in a home evaluation and not even a listing appointment. Get me in front of people. I need to get into a rhythm. My closing ratio was like 58% for the first quarter, which is horrendous. And but second quarter back to 90. And I think it's because I made myself go through those motions and get the practice and get comfortable with all the same objections that I'm getting, like the interest rates are too high, you know, all that shit. There's not enough inventory out there. I'm like, I just got to get into a rhythm, right? So go on as many appointments as you can until you can get into momentum, and then you'll be fine.
Absolutely. You mentioned twice there, surround yourself with like-minded people or people that are crushing it. You know, how often do you put yourself in a position where you're you know, not the smartest guy in the room, or you're with agents that are selling 1,000 or 2,000 homes?
Okay, well, it's very easy for me to be in a room where I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I'm not that smart. Like, I think I have a lot of experience, but, you know, I took that Harvard negotiation course. I was definitely the dumbest guy in the room. Like there was people there negotiating for treaties and like lives, like Pentagon guy. And I'm sitting there negotiating the washer and dryer. Like, what the fuck am I doing here? So, but I do that shit all the time because I know I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but I know that if I surround myself with smart people and I hire smart people, it'll elevate me and it forces me to be uncomfortable and to grow and learn. So I have a coach. I have multiple coaches. I have a health coach. I have a business coach. I have a mastermind group, and we talk every day, all day. I do affirmations every single morning. Like I do a lot of stuff to ensure that my mind stays strong and to ensure that I'm always seeking that room. I'm constantly seeking the room where I'm not known. My favorite scenario is where I go somewhere where no one knows me. Because I'll give you an example. We have this Ottawa home show, and I'd never done it before. And some other realtor went bankrupt. It was a for sale by owner company. They went bankrupt. And they called me and they said, do you want a booth? It's like $1,000 instead of like $3,000. I'm like, fuck it. I've never done it before. What's $1,000, right? It was for like 3 days. We literally had no time to prepare. We just had t-shirts on that said like DK t-shirts, a backdrop, and that's it. And what was really humbling is 99% of the people that walked by were like, what's DK? What are you? Like, and no one knew who the hell I was. And I took that really well. You know, I loved it. And I said to my team, because my whole team's like, oh man, like these people don't really know us, because it was in another side of town where I don't have a lot of signs. And I said, good. This shows us we have a lot of room to grow. Mm-hmm. We're in the right room. If we were somewhere where everyone knew us, what the hell's they already know us. There's the people that you know, and there's the people that you don't know. Which group is bigger? Get into that group. So grow your database. So back to some advice that you asked me before, if you're new, grow your database, because a good business, you should be getting 10% of your business from your database. So if you have 100 people in your database, you should be doing 10 deals a year. If you have 1,000, you should be doing 100. If you're not talking to your database enough, or you're not offering your database enough value. Mm-hmm. So most top producers will get a minimum of 10% every year from their database, hands down. So little things like that example of the home show, no one knew who the hell I was, but I made sure that everybody that walked by did after, and we had met some great conversations. And it wasn't a lot of now business. I think we got 2 deals from it, but it was good for me, and it was good for my ego and humbled me, because I'm like, I have a lot of room to grow in this city. You know, we're only 1 million people. But it's clear I haven't done it because I don't advertise. You asked me about advertising. That's why they don't know me. I don't do flyers. I don't do bus benches. I don't do TV. It's all just, you know, just listed, just sold, old school prospecting. So that's why they don't.
So and you're still selling 100 plus homes a year, right? Just doing the old school stuff. So it definitely works.
Yeah, no, it works. It's just, I'm not saying advertising doesn't work. My problem with advertising is that it's hard to measure. So for example, I did drop a flyer once before, and it cost me $7,000. I got nothing from it. And then I did it again, and I got 3 deals from it. So does it work? Of course it does. It's just not predictable and duplicatable. You have to do it a lot, and somebody will always spend more money than you. Like there's an agent here, she delivers flyers to the whole damn city. I'll never spend as much as her because I just don't see the value in that. So you understand? So it's hard. You either got to go all in but one flyer a year, how do you measure that?
Yeah.
Like I said at the beginning of this call, a real business measures its numbers so you can track it and put a business plan in place. That's my problem with, I know marketing works. You just have to be relentless with it. That's all.
Absolutely. Well, no, I really appreciate your time. I know I took a ton of notes from you, DK, and hopefully everyone else did. Does anyone have any questions here before we wrap up things? If so, come off microphone and ask DK.
I'm okay for another 10 minutes if anybody has questions, or if I pissed off anybody, I'm free to
And for the record, so DK sells in Ottawa, guys. So if you have any moves, military moves, relocation, anyone that's moving to Ottawa, he's a great guy. Follow him on Instagram, Agent DK. He provides tons of content for realtors. Just, it's kind of like a 30-second mindset or motivation every morning. Just, he provides videos like that. A really good guy to learn from, and pick up the phone and call him if you have questions. He crushes it on the prospecting section. He's got a really good morning routine. He's got some great contacts, and obviously he's a Mike Ferry coach, mentor, etc. So that's a really good coaching program as well, guys. If you don't have a coach, whether it be Tom Ferry, Mike Ferry, you name it, get a coach. It is a game changer. And then you eventually get to a point where you have 2 or 3 or 4 coaches.
So every Wednesday I run a role play. Everybody's welcome. It's open. There's usually 75 to 100 people every Wednesday, and bring your objection handlers. I role play anyway, so I opened it up on 1 day a week just to get people come in, and a lot of it is new agents and sometimes seasoned guys, and I love it because it's really good for everyone. A lot of people have the same questions and they're recorded. So if you guys want to join, every Wednesday 11:30 Eastern time, and the link is agentdkzoom.com. I'll type it in the thing.
Perfect. And James, you have a question? Come off mute, sir. No, hang on. I'm just going to unmute you. Go ahead, James.
I'm James. I'm a brand new agent.
I can't hear him.
James, can you talk a bit louder?
But it looks like what he's saying is super powerful.
There we go. Hello.
There he is.
You guys hear me? Awesome. Sorry, I run an acting business on the side. My microphone was turned down.
Oh, good.
I am a brand new agent to my area here in South Delta, BC. I'm wondering, I'm working on my door knocking script right now. I was wondering if you had any tips and tricks for my first time going out door knocking.
Yeah, I do. And congratulations, by the way. I think that's fantastic that you're door knocking this early in your career. Took me a while to figure that out. So good job. Go with somebody who's good at it first. Just once, like buy an agent lunch, say, hey, like find someone. I'm sure if you go to just call John Sai, he's in Vancouver, he'll find you someone. But or Phil, like somebody here will find you someone to go with someone who's done it before, so you don't pick up any bad habits, and so you can see how it's done efficiently and effectively. So whenever I hire a new agent, usually I'll go door knocking with them once or twice, and they're good because they see how relaxed I am and how how it rolls when someone's mean to you or when someone's good to you. Like, what do you do if someone's like, yeah, come on in, what's my home worth? Like, shit. Sometimes the good news is scarier than the bad. Like, it's almost easier if they're mean, It's like, hey, you want to sell your house? Screw you. Hey, you want to sell your house? Screw you. Hey, you want to sell your house? Sure. You keep moving on. No, hold on. I said yes. Shit. I don't know what to say now. So it's 2 things. First, you got to know what to say if they say yes. So I would say go with an experienced agent and give them 50% or whatever you want to give them and just learn. I think at the beginning, you've got to give up some of the equity to learn. I believe in that. And you could go on your own, but it'll take you longer, and it's a lot of rejection. So you might not stay motivated too long. So I would highly suggest go with someone else who's new and make it fun, or go with someone super experienced and go to Mike Ferry's website. They're all nothing in it for me. I actually don't work for Mike Ferry. I'm just coached by him, but all of his scripts are free on his website. So download his scripts, or Tom Ferry. Look, it doesn't matter what coach you have, just get a coach. I don't give a shit if it's Mike or Tom Ferry or Brian Buffini. Just get one and stick to it. Don't be one of those people that goes to every single coaching event. It just doesn't make sense. It's like you're either on the keto diet or you're not. You can't have keto and then go have a pizza and then, stick to one thing. It's the same thing in coaching and diet and everything. So yeah, hope that helps.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome. And you're going to do great, man. You have a great energy and you have a great smile. Your energy introduces you before you introduce yourself. And I mean, if you knocked on my door, I don't think I'd call the police. I think you look pretty normal.
Thank you. Yes. And very used to rejection in the acting business too. And I'm used to objections as well through my management experience.
You know, you have the right attitude, bro. That's half the battle. Most people don't have the right attitude. So when you have the right attitude, you take the right action. When you take the right action, you get good results. When you get good results, your self-talk is better, and round it goes. You see, you have something you can't teach. You're positive. You either have that or you don't. You can become more positive, but it's hard to take someone who's naturally negative and make them positive. You just have a great smile, so you'll be great.
I appreciate that a lot. Thank you, Agent DK.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
My kids call me Agent DK sometimes. It's scary.
Well, great question. You know, a lot of agents are new in this group that you know, probably haven't door knocked yet or want to door knock. So it's a really easy way to control how much business you get just by talking to more people, right?
Yeah, man, go out there, guys. Talk to people. Get rejected. Every no gets you closer to a yes. Can I tell you one story before we go?
Yeah.
I'll be quick. I promise. I talk fast. I'm Greek. So I had a buyer on a search for 2 years, met him at an open house, premium buyer. So not a lot of listings come up in that neighborhood, 1.7 million budget. So I'm like, I'll keep him. You know, what's the point of getting, like, you know, he looks at one house a year. So finally his house came up on the market for 250 days. Go and see it. Buyer says, I want to think about it. It's been on the market for 250 days. It's not going to sell. Really, you shouldn't do that. You should make the offer now. No, I'm going to wait. Well, we go see it again Friday, 5 days later. Agent says there's another showing tonight. I'm like, yeah, right. Yeah. And what happens? We submit the offer. It turns out the listing agent wasn't lying. Another offer came in and I lost. I couldn't fucking believe. I was so pissed. So here's the thing about me. I get pissed always at myself because it was my fault. I wasn't able to convey to the buyer to take action. You know, even at this stage in my career. And maybe I got a bit cocky because it was in the market for 250 days, but the market picked up in Ottawa like 3 weeks ago, just boom. Well, looked at the house next door. I'm like, they look identical. They look the same. Fuck it. I printed 80 letters the next day, dropped 80 letters, door knocked. 3 people called me back. Guess who called me back? The neighbor. Sold, off market, did the deal, $45,000 knock. And now my buyer has to list his home for sale. See, when you lose, you should get pissed. Don't get sad, get pissed. And now turn that anger and rage into action and go. Yes, there's no inventory. Find it. There's people that will sell if you just ask them. They might not be on the market. But look at the rejection. 77 people said no. So this just happened last week. So like, if I can do it, and I did it to show my team, hey, I still do whatever I ask you. Everything I ask you, I still do myself. So the business is there. You just have to go find it. And a lot of people, like Mike Ferry says, there's 3 ways to get business in real estate. Pay for it, advertising, marketing, and all 3 work, right? Advertising, marketing, lower your commission. That's one way of paying for it. 2, wait for it, open house, wait for your phone to ring, you know, stuff like that. Or 3, go out and find it. Going out and finding it is the most profitable way, but it also has the highest rejection. So because of that, it's not sexy, and a lot of people don't like it. It's easier to film a reel than to get rejected, you know what I mean, face to face. And that's the problem in our industry. And if you're not getting rejected enough, you're not working hard enough, in my opinion. It's
so true. And you don't know if that door knock could be $100,000 or $200,000 paycheck. It's happened to me before, same exact scenario. And I ended up making $250,000 off one door knock. Right. So
I love that.
Right. So over the course of 2 years. So DK, I really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for talking to us. I learned a ton, and hopefully everyone else did. It's really beneficial to have someone like you on this call. Guys, reach out. Like I said, give them a follow on Instagram. Reach out if you got referrals for Ottawa. Thank you so much, DK, for taking your time. I love it.
No problem, guys. Thank you. Hopefully you got some value out of today. I appreciate you all.